Hello! When mentioning countries that attract the most tourists worldwide, people often think of the romantic ambience beneath the Eiffel Tower in France, the picturesque landscapes of Germany, or the bustling streets of Thailand. However, few are aware that Mexico is also becoming a highly sought-after destination. Since ancient times, Mexico has been the cradle of two of the greatest civilizations in the Americas, the Maya and the Aztec. Mexican culture is rich with distinctive, unique, and incredibly captivating traits. But if you've ever set foot in the land of the bullfighters, you'll notice that Mexico shares many similarities with Spain. This isn't surprising, as Mexico was heavily influenced by Spain during the colonial period. It is this blend of cultures that has made Mexican civilization so diverse and unique today. Mexico is undeniably beautiful, but as the saying goes, every rose has its thorn. Alongside the vibrant images of cowboys with wide-brimmed hats and mariachi dancers in rainbow-colored dresses, Mexico also harbors darker, more terrifying sides. One of these is the Mexican Mafia, one of the most infamous and ruthless criminal organizations in the world. Just the mention of the Mexican Mafia sends chills down the spine due to the sheer brutality of their operations. The Mexican Mafia is ready to take down anyone who stands in their way using the most barbaric methods. Almost daily violent killings take place, spreading terror not only among the Mexican people, but throughout the world. The Mexican Mafia, also known as La IM, is a notorious prison gang based in California, USA. For prison guards in California, it's regarded as the gang of gangs, controlling not only all activities behind bars, but also influencing illegal operations on the outside. The power of the Mexican Mafia is so immense that it's often referred to as the shadow government. The organization was founded by Luis Huero Buff Flores and 13 other inmates while serving time at the California State Correctional Facility. In the 1950s, the Mexican Mafia began to gain notoriety when President Felipe Calderón launched a nationwide crackdown on social issues in an effort to eradicate the rampant criminal gangs in Central America. Initially, the Mexican Mafia's goal was simply to form an alliance for self-protection against other inmates. However, over the course of 6 decades, the organization became corrupted, committing numerous crimes such as theft, extortion, and ruthlessly eliminating anyone who dared oppose them. The Mexican Mafia's power continued to grow thanks to its brutal reputation, which spanned over 30 years within the prison system. From there, they ignited a true war on Mexican soil, between criminal gangs and the police, between rival gangs, and even between corrupt police forces. These powerful criminal gangs don't just possess heavy weaponry. They're equipped with tanks, armored vehicles, and even drones. In Mexico, the police don't need to search for the mafia. The mafia seeks them out to provoke and taunt with the attitude of "catch me if you can." At the beginning of 2022, a vehicle carrying the bodies of 10 people was parked right next to a Christmas tree beside the governor's mansion in the city of Zacatecas, central Mexico. This was seen as an open challenge from the mafia to the local government, especially after Governor David Monreal, since taking office, have been actively cracking down on gangs with the help of Mexico's president. Statistics show that there are currently at least 150 organized criminal groups operating in Mexico, compared to 2006 when this number could still be counted on one hand. The government has offered a reward of $1.6 million for any valuable information leading to the arrest of gang leaders. However, the purges occur so frequently that the people of Mexico have gradually become indifferent as violence unfolds almost daily. Mass graves are continuously being discovered, with many victims found in a state beyond recognition. The people of Mexico constantly ask themselves, when will this end? Or when will we be the next ones to fall? The conflicts between the two major cartels, Sinaloa and Jalisco New Generation, as well as local mafia groups, have left devastating consequences, turning many towns and cities into wastelands. According to data from Mexico's Ministry of the Interior, An average of 112 violent incidents have occurred daily since December 2018. Over 60,000 people have disappeared, and only 8,200 have been found in graves since 2006. What's even more tragic is that these cases are not officially counted as murders because the authorities cannot identify the victims. Currently, more than 52,000 people remain missing, and their identities cannot be determined for investigation. Many Mexican states are heavily affected by gang violence. In 2021, the state of Zacatecas broke records with a rate of 90.4 purges per 100,000 people. The Mexican Mafia is truly a horrifying nightmare for the people living there. The numbers of violence and crime will likely continue to rise unless the government implements strict measures to quell the chaos and protect the rights and lives of the people from these aggressive forces. The root cause of the problem is still being ignored and has not been thoroughly addressed. To survive and expand their power, cartel leaders must find ways to develop business markets to maintain their dominance. As a result, agriculture and forestry have become prime targets for the Mexican Mafia. In agriculture, they focus on the avocado market, while in forestry, they aim to seize land and exploit timber. If Saudi Arabia's oil is considered black gold, then for Mexico, avocados are no different from green gold. Avocados are a highly expensive food favored by gourmets and are widely available in supermarkets around the world. In the U.S., avocados are even more popular, with an average consumption of 3.5 kilograms per person per year, one of the highest in the world. Thanks to ideal natural conditions with favorable rain, sunlight, and nutrient-rich volcanic soil, the state of Michoacán, Mexico, has become the world's leading avocado producer, accounting for more than 40% of the country's total avocado production. Although the U.S. also grows avocados, but it's not enough to meet domestic demand, making Mexico the world's largest avocado exporter, second only to beer in the list of Mexico's major exports to the U.S. However, the joy of Mexican avocado farmers did not last long before they had to face the brutality of the mafia cartels. The billion-dollar avocado industry has become the number one target of criminal gangs in Michoacán. They seize farms, deforest land to grow avocados, the fruit that locals refer to as green gold. Four of Mexico's largest and most powerful cartels have entered a fierce battle to control the supply in Michoacán, the heart of the avocado growing industry. Traditional farmers in the city of Uruapan, Michoacán, have been caught up in the profit disputes of the cartels. They are kidnapped, threatened, and forced to sell their avocado farms at meager prices. The criminal gangs even block the roads of farmers and factory owners, extorting protection money from them. If they refuse, the gangs destroy their farms and property, pushing their lives into misery and despair. The mafia employs brutal tactics, forcing farmers into high-interest loans to bind them to avocado cultivation. Many, unable to repay their debts or protection fees, have no choice but to flee, taking their families away from their homeland to escape the threats. Even though they don't recover the principal or interest from these debts, the mafia still benefits by seizing the land of the farmers. They don't hesitate to intimidate and coerce victims into signing land transfer documents in front of a notary. A completely unjust process, but the mafia knows no one dares to resist. In some areas, gangs even demand a percentage of the profits from each hectare of avocado land or from every kilogram of exported avocados without contributing anything themselves, but still wanting a share of the wealth. When multiple gangs compete to control a piece of land, negotiations fail, leading to battles that can last for hours, turning once peaceful areas into tense, violent zones since avocados became valuable. The locals live in constant fear, never knowing when they might be threatened or robbed. In Uruapan, the likelihood of being murdered is higher than that of being in a car accident. In August 2020, Sylvia Martinez, the director of an avocado export company, spoke out after 19 people were targeted by the mafia as a warning to anyone who dared to defy them. Even tourists unrelated to avocado farming are swept up in this bloody conflict. The death of Homero Gomez Gonzalez, a renowned butterfly conservationist in Mexico, along with 2 tour guides just days later, is clear evidence of the gang-related land disputes in Michoacan. Michoacan quickly became one of the most violent states in Mexico. The gangs not only profit from avocado farming, but also from extorting business owners and kidnapping people for ransom, often killing the victims if their demands aren't met. While crime runs rampant and the people are caught in a no-win situation, local officials appear powerless or, worse, deliberately ignore or secretly aid the gangs. This explains why Michoacan has the lowest successful investigation rate in Mexico, at only around 3%. Very few cases in Michoacan see the culprits brought to justice. It's estimated that the gangs extort about 48 avocados from residents daily, yet the number of criminals punished is so small it can be counted on one hand. It's incredibly unfair that avocado farmers continuously suffer hardship without enjoying any of their own fruits of labor. When patience reaches its limit, people will inevitably rise to protect their lives, property, or at least escape from poverty. The people of Michoacan are no exception. They could no longer endure the oppression. Pushed to the edge, they were forced to take up arms and fight back against the mafia. The residents organized themselves into militia groups, assigning people to guard the entrances to their villages. The first militia group was established in the village of Tansataro. No one could continue accepting that their entire family worked tirelessly in the fields, caring for crops only for extortionists to come and take everything in an instant, leaving them with nothing. The self-defense militias were equipped with body armor, armored vehicles, and submachine guns, no less well-armed than professional police. This had a significant effect. They maintained local security so well that the mafia no longer dared to venture into Tansataro, and crime rates dropped dramatically. Although Mexico has laws prohibiting civilians from owning military-grade weapons, and the federal government has called for these self-defense groups to disarm, but the civilian fighters in Tansataro have no intention of laying down their arms. They assert that they will only cease their efforts when the state and federal governments can fully guarantee the safety of their town. However, the Mexican Mafia's reach didn't stop there, as they soon began infiltrating the country's forestry industry. Mexico is fortunate to have vast, ancient natural forests and many communities. Especially indigenous ones have historically benefited from logging and tourism. However, the intervention of criminal gangs has shattered this stability. Chihuahua, Mexico's largest state, has more than 25,000 hectares of forested land, primarily pine forests harvested for agriculture. In the past, Chihuahua's strategic location made it a target for criminal groups seeking control of drug trafficking routes. But in recent years, these organizations have expanded into illegal logging. The forests have been ravaged by loggers. Residents have lost their livelihoods, and they face even more devastating natural disasters as a result. A few years ago, the village of Tava was buried under mud and debris after a catastrophic landslide caused by flooding. The villagers, pushed to the brink, were forced to comply with the criminals' demands just to make a little money to survive. They had to give up ownership of their land to the mafia or switch to growing opium poppies to supply them. Towns in the region became hubs for secret drug processing labs. Juanito City, the region center for wood processing, was not spared from the gang's control either. Most of the city's 25 sawmills were manipulated or outright owned by criminal groups. These sawmills process illegal timber harvested from the forests, then distribute the products to Chihuahua's capital for sale. The demand for pine wood in Mexico for construction and furniture is extremely high, driving the mafia's illegal activities. Just like they do with avocado farmers, the mafia extorts sawmill owners for protection money to seize control of the timber industry. Even if mill owners manage to keep control of their businesses, they are still forced to pay monthly protection fees and buy illegally harvested wood from loggers. According to unofficial sources, more than half of the sawmill owners in Juanito have been forced to sell their businesses to notorious gangs. Illegal logging isn't limited to Mexico's borders. It has now spread to Honduras, Peru, and Colombia. In Honduras, many beautiful cherry forests have been completely destroyed by illegal logging. Beyond that, gangs also engage in the trafficking of endangered animals such as wild donkeys in Colombia, crocodiles in Mexico, river turtles in Peru, and sea cucumbers in Honduras. The mafia cunningly expands its business operations, targeting areas where the government is unable to control or provide basic services. For a long time, the Mexican government has been powerless to ensure security or provide essential services to rural areas, partly due to budget constraints and partly due to corrupt and inefficient local administrations. Poor farmers receive no assistance from the government or banks. Neither the Mexican government, the U.S., nor other regional countries have effective measures to counter the mafia's encroachment into agriculture and forestry. They continue to rely on outdated methods, deploying armed police forces to suppress crime without realizing that this only fuels the gang's expansion into other industries. Today, the profits from avocado farming and illegal logging are so vast that many gangs are willing to scale back their drug trafficking operations to avoid law enforcement attention. So is there a solution to protect farmers from the mafia's grip? This is a long process that must begin with restoring law and order in local areas. It's time for the Mexican government to provide clear, comprehensive, and effective answers before the mafia tightens its octopus tentacles even further, draining the lifeblood of the country. How do you feel about this story? Leave your thoughts in the comments below to share with everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support me. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.